The discovery, the sonar ping echoed through the research vessel Deep Explorer like a heartbeat in the darkness. Captain Sarah Chen pressed her face against the monitor, watching the impossible image form on her screen. 2 miles beneath the Pacific Ocean's surface, in the deepest part of the Mariana Trench, something massive lay waiting. "That can't be right," Chief Engineer Rosa Martinez muttered, adjusting the sonar equipment for the 3rd time. "The readings show a structure nearly 2 miles long. Nothing that big should be down there." Dr. Marcus Webb, the expedition's xenoarchaeologist, leaned over Sarah's shoulder. His weathered face reflected the green glow of the sonar display. "Unless it's not supposed to be there at all." 3 weeks earlier, seismic sensors had detected an anomaly in the trench. The initial reports suggested a previously unknown geological formation, but the energy readings were all wrong. Instead of the cold, dead signatures of rock and sediment, the sensors detected organized patterns, geometric shapes. Technology, Admiral. James Harrison had personally approved the expedition within hours of seeing the preliminary data. The military's interest in deep-sea anomalies had grown significantly since. Similar discoveries in other ocean trenches around the world. But this one was different. This one was intact. Sarah guided the submersible Leviathan down through layers of crushing darkness. At this depth, the ocean pressed against their titanium hull with the weight of mountains. The exterior cameras revealed a world without sunlight, populated only by strange creatures that had evolved in eternal night. Depth 11,000 meters, Rosa announced. All systems stable, external pressure holding steady. As they descended further, the darkness began to change. A faint luminescence emanated from below, barely visible but unmistakably artificial. The glow had a blue-green quality that seemed to pulse with its own rhythm. "Are you seeing this, Doctor?" Webb's voice carried a mixture of excitement and disbelief. Through the submersible's reinforced windows, the alien vessel came into view. It stretched beyond the reach of their lights, a massive structure of unknown metal that seemed to absorb and reflect light in impossible ways. The hull displayed no signs of damage from impact or corrosion from the crushing depths. Instead, it appeared as if it had been gently placed on the ocean floor, waiting. "It's beautiful," Sarah whispered. The ship's design defied human understanding of aerospace engineering. Curves flowed into angles that hurt to look at directly. Surfaces that should have been flat appeared to bend in directions that didn't exist in normal space. Rosa's instruments went wild as they approached. "Captain, I'm reading massive energy signatures from inside that thing. Whatever it is, it's not dead." The submersible's external manipulator arms extended toward the vessel's hull. Dr. Webb guided them carefully, collecting samples of the strange metal. The material felt warm to the touch, even through the mechanical feedback systems. "This is impossible," he muttered, studying the readings. "The metal is maintaining a temperature 15 degrees above the surrounding water. At this depth, with these pressures, nothing should be generating heat without an active power source." Admiral Harrison's voice crackled through the communication. "System from the surface vessel. What's your status down there?" "We've found something extraordinary, Admiral," Sarah reported. "This isn't a crash site. The vessel shows no signs of damage. It's as if someone parked it here deliberately. Can you find a way inside?" Dr. Webb had been studying the hull patterns for the past hour. "I think so. These markings aren't random. There's some kind of interface system." "Rosa, can you route power to the external contact array?" The engineer's fingers flew over her console. "Done. But Captain, if we're wrong about this?" Then we'll be the first humans to make a very expensive mistake on the ocean floor. Sarah replied grimly. Dr. Webb positioned the submersible's contact array against a section of hull that seemed different from the rest. The metal here formed intricate patterns that almost resembled circuitry. As soon as the array made contact, the patterns began to glow. The change was immediate and startling. A section of the alien hull simply disappeared, creating an opening large enough for their submersible to pass through. Beyond the opening, they could see a chamber filled with the same blue-green luminescence. The atmosphere inside is breathable, Rosa reported, her voice filled with wonder. Oxygen, nitrogen, trace gases. It's like they knew we were coming. Sarah piloted the Leviathan through the opening. The chamber beyond defied explanation. They were inside an alien spacecraft, 2 miles beneath the ocean's surface, and the air was breathable. More impossibly, the chamber seemed far larger inside than the external dimensions should have allowed. Spatial distortion, Dr. Webb murmured. They've bent space itself inside this vessel. The walls were covered with what could only be described as hieroglyphs, but they moved and shifted as the team watched. Pictures formed and dissolved, showing star systems, planets, and creatures that had never walked on Earth. In the center of the chamber stood a pedestal supporting a crystalline structure the size of a human torso. The crystal pulsed within a light, and energy patterns flowed through it like liquid electricity. That's the power source, Rosa breathed. It's been running for who knows how long, maintaining this entire structure. As they approached the crystal, new images began forming on the walls. These were different from the others. They showed a species of tall, graceful beings with features that seemed almost familiar. But the images carried a sense of urgency, even desperation. They're trying to tell us something, Dr. Webb realized. He began recording everything, hoping to decipher the meaning later. The images showed the graceful beings working frantically on some kind of project. Then came scenes of destruction, planets burning, entire star systems going dark. The beings were fleeing from something, and whatever they were running from was gaining on them. It's a warning, Sarah realized. This whole ship is a warning, but warning against what? The images weren't clear enough to show what had driven this advanced species to abandon their technology in Earth's deepest ocean. All they could see was that something had been powerful enough to make them run, and desperate enough to make them hide their most advanced technology where they thought it would never be found. Admiral Harrison's voice interrupted their analysis. Team, we're detecting seismic activity on the ocean floor. Minor tremors, but they're growing stronger. Rosa checked her instruments and felt her blood go cold. Captain, the energy output from that crystal just doubled. Our presence is affecting it somehow. The moving hieroglyphs on the walls began changing faster, cycling through images with increasing urgency. Now they could see what looked like construction projects, massive structures being built around planets, ships the size of moons moving between star systems. They weren't just running, Dr. Webb said slowly. They were preparing, building something, to fight back. But fight back against what? The images still wouldn't show their enemy clearly. All they revealed was shadow and destruction, a force that consumed everything in its path. The crystal's pulsing grew more intense, and suddenly the chamber filled with a sound that wasn't quite music and wasn't quite language. It resonated through their bones, carrying meaning without words. Rose's hands flew over her console. The energy readings are off the charts now. Whatever we've awakened, it's trying to communicate. The sound grew clearer, resolving into something that almost resembled human speech. But the words, when they came, were in no language any of them recognized. Keth, Naylor, Vith humans, Neth Korvash, Velmora. Dr. Webb grabbed his recording equipment frantically. Whatever it's saying, we need to get this back to the surface. The linguistic computers might be able to make sense of it. But as they prepared to leave, one final image appeared on the walls. This one was clear and unmistakable. It showed Earth, their blue and green world hanging in space. But surrounding Earth were massive geometric structures, like a cage made of metal and energy. They're not just warning us, Sarah realized with growing horror. They're giving us instructions. This technology, this entire ship, it's meant for us to use. The communication grew louder, more urgent, and suddenly Rose's translation program managed to parse a few words. The computer's voice was flat and electronic, but the meaning was terrifying. The DEVOURERS ... return, build ... the Guardian, humanity ... must ... fall. The crystal's light suddenly dimmed, and the moving images on the walls froze. In the sudden silence, they could hear only the hum of their submersibles, systems, and their own rapid breathing. "Admiral," Sarah called to the surface, "we need immediate extraction, and we need every xenotechnology expert on the planet standing by." "Why? What did you find down there?" Sarah looked at the frozen images on the walls, at the crystal that had gone dormant after delivering its message, at the impossible technology that surrounded them. "We found a gift," she said finally, "and a responsibility. This species, whoever they were, they left us something. But it comes with a price. We have to figure out how to use it before something called the Devourers return." "Returns from where?" Sarah stared at the image of Earth surrounded by geometric structures and felt a chill that had nothing to do with the deep ocean cold. "From wherever they've been for the last few million years, growing stronger and hungrier, waiting for the right time to come back and finish what they started." As the Leviathan began its ascent to the surface, carrying the most important discovery in human history, none of them noticed the way the crystal pulsed once more before going completely dark. Nor did they see the final image that appeared briefly on the walls before fading away. It showed the graceful alien beings, but they were no longer alone. Standing beside them were humans, working together on the massive construction projects. The image suggested something that would have been impossible for the team to believe at that moment. The aliens hadn't just left them a warning and a tool. They had left them a partner. Asterisk, the monster awakened 6 months after the discovery in the Mariana Trench, the Titan project facility in Nevada's most classified desert installation, hummed with constant activity. The alien vessel had been carefully raised from the ocean depths and transported in sections to the secure facility, where teams of the world's brightest minds worked around the clock to unlock its secrets. Dr. Marcus Webb stood before a massive display showing the project's progress. The alien technology was unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. But slowly, painstakingly, they were beginning to understand it. "The power source is the key to everything," Chief Engineer Rosa Martinez explained to the assembled team. "The crystal doesn't just generate energy, it processes information, stores memory, and somehow interfaces directly with living consciousness." Captain Sarah Chen, now serving as the project's military liaison, studied the holographic displays showing their latest breakthrough. They had successfully integrated alien power systems with human technology, creating hybrid devices that operated far beyond the limits of conventional engineering. Show them the defensive grid, Admiral Harrison commanded. Rosa activated a new display, revealing a three-dimensional model of Earth, surrounded by a network of orbital platforms. Each platform was equipped with technology reverse-engineered from the alien vessel. Project Titan, she announced. Global defense system powered by alien energy cells, controlled by quantum computers using their data processing methods. If the Devourers return, we'll be ready. But Dr. Webb looked troubled. I'm still not comfortable with how quickly the integration is proceeding. This technology seems almost designed to work with human systems. That's not possible unless... What? Admiral Harrison demanded. Unless they studied us first. Unless they knew exactly what kind of species would find their ship. The main laboratory fell silent. The implications of Dr. Webb's observation were staggering. Had the aliens deliberately chosen Earth as the hiding place for their technology because they knew humans would be able to use it? Rosa's console chimed with an incoming alert. We have a problem. The primary crystal in Laboratory 7 is showing unusual activity. Laboratory 7 housed the largest section of the alien vessel, including the central crystal they had discovered. In the deep ocean chamber, as the team hurried to investigate, they found technicians backing away from the crystal in alarm. The crystal was no longer the steady blue-green it had maintained for months. Instead, it pulsed rapidly with colors that shifted through spectrums human eyes had never seen. More alarming still, the air around it shimmered with energy distortions. It's responding to something, Dr. Webb realized. The question is what? His answer came from an unexpected source. The laboratory speakers crackled to life, but the voice that emerged was not human. Finally, we wondered how long it would take you to build enough integration points. The team froze. The voice spoke perfect English, but there was something alien about its cadence, as if it was translating thoughts into human language in real time. Do not be afraid. We are not your enemy. We are the one your species calls the Guardian, though that is a crude translation of our true nature. Captain Sarah Chen stepped forward, her hand instinctively moving toward her sidearm. Who are you? What are you? We are what remains of the Cathari civilization. Our physical forms died out years ago, but we preserved our consciousness within the crystal matrices you have been studying. We have been waiting for a species capable of understanding our technology. Dr. Webb's mind raced. The ship wasn't abandoned. It was planted. You wanted us to find it. Correct. We observed your species for centuries, waiting for you to develop the necessary technological foundation. When your primitive scanning devices began detecting our vessel, we knew it was time. Rosa's engineering instincts kicked in. The integration was too smooth. You were helping us, weren't you? Guiding our research, we provided subtle influences, yes, but the ingenuity was entirely human. Your species has a remarkable ability to adapt and innovate under pressure. That is why we chose you. Admiral Harrison stepped forward. Chose us for what? The crystals, pulsing, intensified, and suddenly the laboratory filled with holographic displays. They showed star charts spanning the galaxy, with dark regions spreading, like cancer across the spiral arms. The Devourers have awakened from their dormancy cycle. They consume not just matter and energy, but consciousness itself. Entire civilizations, billions of years of culture and knowledge, reduced to nothing more than fuel for their expansion. The holographic display zoomed in on Earth's sector of the galaxy. A massive dark mass was moving through nearby star systems, leaving empty space in its wake. They will reach Earth in approximately 18 of your months. Every species they have encountered has fallen to them. The Cathari were the first to successfully resist, but at great cost. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. What kind of cost? We sacrificed our physical existence to become one with our technology. We became living weapons, guardians capable of fighting the devourers on their own level. But we could not do it alone. We needed partners, species capable of innovation and adaptation. The holographic display changed to show the orbital defense platforms of Project Titan. But now they were connected by streams of energy to ground installations across Earth. Your defensive grid is not just a weapon system. It is a transformation matrix. When the devourers arrive, willing humans can join with us, becoming hybrid consciousness entities capable of wielding powers beyond physical limitations. Dr. Webb stared at the display in horror and fascination. You're asking us to give up our humanity? No, we are asking you to transcend it. The hybrids retain their human memories, personalities, and values, but they gain abilities that purely physical beings cannot possess. The power to manipulate matter and energy directly, to exist simultaneously in multiple dimensions, to think at speeds that compress hours of analysis into microseconds. Rosa studied the technical displays with growing excitement. It's not death. It's evolution, a merger of human consciousness with alien technology. But Sarah remained skeptical. And if we refuse? The holographic displays shifted to show Earth as the devourers would leave it. A dark, empty sphere stripped of all life and energy. Then your species joins the countless others who have been consumed. The devourers do not negotiate. They do not show mercy. They exist only to feed. Admiral Harrison had been silent throughout the conversation, but now he spoke with the authority of someone accustomed to making impossible decisions. How many volunteers would you need? Initially, perhaps 1,000 individuals with strong technical or strategic backgrounds. They would become the core of Earth's defense force. As the threat grows, more humans could choose to join us, and the rest of humanity would continue to exist as they always have, protected by their hybrid guardians. We do not seek to replace humanity, we seek to preserve it. The laboratory fell silent as the magnitude of the decision settled over them. Humanity was being offered a chance at survival, but at a cost that would fundamentally change what it meant to be human. Dr. Webb was the first to break the silence. I'll do it. The others turned to stare at him in surprise. Someone has to be first, he continued. And if this technology can help us understand the devourers well enough to defeat them, then the risk is worth it. The transformation is not reversible, the Guardian warned. Once you join with us, your consciousness will be permanently altered. You will still be Dr. Marcus Webb, but you will also be something more. Then I'll be Dr. Marcus Webb, Guardian of Earth, he replied with a slight smile. Rosa stepped forward next. If Webb's going to need technical support, he'll have it. One by one, other researchers and military personnel in the laboratory volunteered. Not all of them, but enough to form the core of what would become humanity's first line of defense against an enemy that had consumed entire galaxies. The transformation process was unlike anything in human experience. The volunteers were placed in chambers connected directly to the alien crystal matrices. As the integration began, their human consciousness expanded, touching minds that had existed for millions of years. Dr. Webb was the first to emerge from the process. Physically, he appeared unchanged, but his eyes now held depths that seemed to contain starlight. When he spoke, His voice carried harmonics that resonated through dimensions human ears couldn't detect. "I can see them," he said, staring at displays that showed the approaching Devourer fleet. "They're not just ships. They're living entities, consciousness parasites that have grown to the size of planets. But they have a weakness." "What weakness?" Admiral Harrison demanded. "Webb's transformed consciousness processed information at inhuman speeds. They've never encountered a hybrid defense. They're adapted to consume purely biological or purely technological civilizations. But something that's both, something that combines human creativity with Cathari transcendence, that's outside their experience." Over the following weeks, more volunteers joined the transformation process. Each brought their own skills and perspectives to the growing hybrid consciousness. Engineers merged with alien technology experts. Military strategists combined with beings who had fought the Devourers across multiple galaxies. The Project Titan defense grid evolved beyond its original specifications. The orbital platforms became nodes in a vast network that connected hybrid guardians stationed throughout the solar system. When the Devourers finally arrived, they would face not just weapons, but an entirely new form of existence. Captain Sarah Chen chose to remain human, serving as the liaison between the transformed Guardians and unchanged humanity. She understood that if Earth survived, it would need leaders who could represent both sides of their new dual civilization. 3 months before the projected arrival of the Devourer fleet, the first hybrid Guardian addressed the people of Earth through every communication system on the planet. "People of Earth, this is Dr. Marcus Webb speaking for the Guardian Council. In 90 days, our world will face the greatest threat in human history. But we will not face it alone, and we will not face it defenseless." The message was transmitted simultaneously in every language on Earth, each person hearing it in their native tongue despite the speaker being a hybrid of human and alien consciousness. "Those of you who have volunteered to join the Guardian transformation will help us defend not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. Those who choose to remain in your natural human state will be protected and cherished. For you represent what we fight to preserve. The enemy that approaches us has consumed countless worlds, but they have never faced anything like what Earth has become. They have never fought a species that chose evolution over extinction, cooperation over conquest. We are no longer merely human. We are no longer merely alien. We are something new, something unprecedented in the galaxy's history. We are Earth's guardians, and we will not let our world fall." As the message ended, people around the world looked up at the night sky with a mixture of fear and hope. Somewhere among those stars, an ancient evil was approaching. But humanity was no longer the same species that had first looked up at those stars and wondered if they were alone in the universe. They had found their answer in the depths of the ocean. They were not alone, and they never would be again. When the Devourers arrived, they would discover that Earth had become something they had never encountered in their eons of consumption. Earth had become a world defended by monsters of its own making. Beautiful, terrible monsters born from the marriage of human determination and alien transcendence. And for the first time in galactic history, the Devourers would face an enemy capable of devouring them in return.